What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another WNBA video. We have ourselves a three-game slate to dive into for Thursday, July 24th. So I'm going to break down and analyze each of those three games. I'm going to talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points and the spread. And then when it's all said and done, make sure you check down there into the pin comment. You'll find a link down there that's going to send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where you're going to find all of my final plays for these games listed for free. Now, before we dive into these games, let's go ahead and jump over there to the website. We need to take a look back to Tuesday. Let's see what we took then and how that ended up going down. And man, we were hoping for a little bit of birthday luck on Tuesday, right? Not so much, man. 1-5 on the day. Took the Mystics on the money line, and we don't cash. They fall to the Sparks again for the second straight time. Took the Liberty laying 9.5, and that is our only green check mark on the day. Took Arike and Gubawale under 18.5 points plus assists. Man, she been throwing up bricks all year, right? Not on Tuesday. She came out on fire, man. She cleared this in points alone. Then we took Erica Wheeler over 1.5 3-pointers made, man. We do not cash on that one. She does not hit any. Took the Storm laying 5.5. Now, this one here is a little frustrating, right? Skylar Diggins was ruled out less than an hour before tip-off. So once again, the injury bug does bite us. I probably would not have put this one in if Skylar Diggins was ruled out earlier. But, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? We do, and we lose, man. They do not cover this one. Not only do they not cover the spread, but they lose this game outright by double digits. Then the Dream, we took them plus 2.5, and I thought they had a good chance of winning that game outright. They do not. They also lose by double digits, man. So, like I said, 1-5 on the day. The only good thing is we played everything pretty light coming in off of the All-Star break. These first two plays were put in at half units, and everything else we ran at a quarter unit, so we don't take a huge loss on the day. But still, 1-5 is not ideal, especially on your birthday, right? Come on, man. Let's look to have a little bit of better look. As you can see down here, we put an early look in for Wednesday's game, that Mercury game, laying 6.5 points. So hopefully we cash on that one. That game's going to tip off here in a little bit. I'm recording this one before that one. So we'll recap that play along with whatever we take in this video in our next video. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Smash that like button down there for me if you can, and hit subscribe if you have not already. Let's get into our first game. 7 p.m. tip-off time. Going to be the Aces taking on the Fever. Aces are now 3.5 point favorites. They opened up at 1.5. That total sitting at 162.5. The Fever, they're going to be back home after back-to-back double-digit losses to the Liberty, coming right before and then right after the All-Star break. They sit at 13-12 now on the year, 12-13 against the spread. They're 7-6 at home, both straight up and to the number. The Aces, they look to be building a little bit of momentum, right? They come in as a road favorite here, winners of 3 straight. They're sitting at 12-11 straight up, but they are just 9-14 to the number. They have only covered in one of those 3 straight wins. Now, as favorites on the road this season, the Aces are 3-4 against the spread. The Fever, as home dogs, have gone 3-0 against the spread, and they have won those games outright 2 out of 3 times, with one of those wins and covers coming over these Aces right here. So they've met twice on the year so far, these two. The Aces won the first meeting at home by 8, while the Fever won the rematch in Indy without Caitlin Clark, might I add, and she has been ruled out for this one as well with that groin injury. Man, I don't know that this feels like a nice bounce back spot for Indiana, right? After 2 losses to one of the better teams in the W, the defending champs, man, both of which they were without their best player in Clark. Now, this also feels like it has the potential for a Vegas letdown. You know, they're coming in off of 3 straight wins, coming in off of a blowout win at that over a good Atlanta team. The Aces have had the 5th rated offense over their last 5, but Indiana sits above them at 2nd in that regard. Vegas coming in at 7th in defense in that time, the Fever coming in at 9th. Indiana has been one of the best teams on the year scoring in the paint, and in their last 5, they sit at 2nd for field goals made from inside the restricted area, and from outside the restricted area, they are shooting at the 3rd highest percentage. That they are 3rd in the league for offensive rebounds in that time, converting those into the 3rd most second chance points. Vegas isn't giving up a crazy amount of offensive rebounds by any means. They're sitting at 5th for offensive boards allowed per game, but they are giving up the 3rd most second chance points, and they're allowing opponents to shoot at the highest percentage from inside the restricted area. The Aces are hitting the most shots from the mid-range, but the Fever, they're giving up the 3rd fewest and at the 2nd lowest shooting percentage. So, guys, I like the Fever in this spot, man. I'm just debating on the points or the money line at this point, man. Like I said, 3-0 at home as a dog to the number, and then 2-1 outright. So that is my debate right now. Look, usually the Aces, man, any of these games, it's a no play for me. And I did just break that rule, and I got burned taking the Dream against them, right? Catching the points. But yeah, man, it's a fever spot at home here for me or nothing, man. We'll have to see if I can get there and pull the trigger, right? For the total, both these teams have gone over in 2 of their last 3, and the Fever have been an over team on the year, but the Aces have hit to the under more this season. 13 of 23 games played so far, and in 7 of their last 10 as well. Both these offenses sit in the top 5 for points per game over their last 5, however. Vegas at 5th with 85 points per game. Indiana coming in at 2nd, 89 points per game. Now, in those same 5, the Fever have shot the 3rd highest percentage from the field while giving up the 3rd highest shooting percentage overall. The Aces have shot at the 2nd highest percentage while sitting middle of the pack at 7th for field goal percentage allowed. So I'm gonna lean over with all that in mind, but I do worry, man, that this is another one of those spots that the Aces just come out kind of flat, right? Um, you know, they just don't really get a ton of points up, landing in that like 60 mark somewhere in there, right? That 60-ish mark. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure that I can get there with the total in this one, but I would be leaning over at the end of the day. Next up, 7 p.m. tip-off time. We got the Los Angeles Sparks taking on the Connecticut Sun. Sparks opened up 5.5-point favorites. That's now up to 6.5. Total sitting at 166.5. Sparks coming in as road favorites, man, of now more than 3 possessions. That sounds insane, but here we are, right? Here we are. This is the Sun, so that's a big factor here for sure. But the Sparks have been playing some good ball. And after fading this team their last few times out, I guess I got to start giving them a little bit of credit, right? Much more than I have been giving them for sure. They have won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. And in those 5, they sit at 3rd for net rating. They are just 10th defensively, but they sit atop the first for offensive rating over their last 5 games. They're shooting the ball at an absurd rate right now in their last 5 games, man. 42% from deep, tops in the W while making the 2nd most three-point shots, just behind the Valkyries, man, by less than a half a 3 per game, right? So damn near first in the league as far as three-pointers made and three-point shooting percentage. They're tops in the league for overall shooting percentage from the field. They're hitting at 50%. Yes, 50% from the field over 5 over their last 5. They're scoring 91 points per game also in those 5 games, man, tops in the W. So this offense is rolling, like I said. This team is rolling. They're playing really good basketball. And their season isn't over just yet, right? They had a rocky start, sure, but we've talked over the course of the season about the talent that this team has. The front court of Hamby and Stevens isn't no joke. They can both score from the inside. They can both score from deep. They can defend around the rim. They clean up on the glass well also. You got second-year forward Rakia Jackson. She's really coming into her own as a scoring threat on all 3 levels, man. She can be a nightmare to the defense when she gets going. Plum Dog has been cooking lately also. Ray Burrell is back from injury. They still have Cam Brink coming back at some point as well. I think, I think, but that will just add more depth and length to that front court whenever she is able to return, man. Then you look at the Sun, and while the youngins of Sanaya Rivers and Anissa Murrow have shown flashes, this team is super, super young, man. Outside of what Tina Charles and Marina Mabry, and Mabry is she's missed the last 9 games now, but it is looking like she's expected to play in this one. That's going to be a huge, huge lift for the Sun if she's able to suit up here, man. These two they have met once on the year. It was a 92-88 Sparks win in LA that happened just before the All-Star break. The Sparks won the turnover battle in that one and the battle of the glass in a fast-paced, high-scoring affair. 6.5, though, man, it just feels like a lot to lay with the Sparks on the road, no matter how well that they played. I do think that they're the better team here overall as well, end of the day. They're rolling right now, man, so I can see it, but Mabry could be just enough, right? Just what the Sun need offensively to close that gap and cover here on this one. This could definitely be a letdown spot for the Sparks as well. Like I said, man, 6.5 is a lot to lay on the road, so I'm gonna lean Connecticut's way here with the points. I'm not sure that I get anywhere with this one as far as the side's concerned, though. The total looks more intriguing to me, man. Sitting there in the mid-160s currently. They flew up and over this mark when they met before landing all the way up at 180. Sun have hit to the over in 4 of their last 7, but the Sparks have gone over in 5 straight, 7 of their last 10. With the tendencies of these teams, man, to try to push the pace and get out and transition, coupled with the struggles of each defense, dominating play from the Sparks offense as of late, man. I'm going to lean over looking at this one. And then for our third and final game on the night, 8:30 p.m. tip-off time, we got the Seattle Storm taking on the Chicago Sky. Storm opened up 6-point favorites. That's sitting at 8.5 now. That total opened up 161.5. It is all the way down to 157.5 now. Now, there's a lot to talk about as far as the injury report is concerned in this one, and it feels tricky to call, man. There's a lot of uncertainty still with each lineup. Skylar Diggins did miss Seattle's last game out for personal reasons, and she is a game time decision here. No word on when she'll be back, what's going on. So that one makes things pretty iffy. With the line moving in Seattle's favor, that kind of leads me to believe that she'll be here for this one. But that also could have more to do with what's going on Chicago's side. We got Michaela Owenware and Ariel Atkins both out for Chicago. Atkins has missed the last two for the Sky, and each have resulted in blowout losses, right? Now, I've been saying, man, how big her absence is for Chicago, and with her out here again, man, it's going to be more struggles for the Sky. And then Angel Reese popped up late on the report as well. She's questionable with a back injury, and this is separate from that leg injury that kept her out of that game right before the All-Star break. So a lot going on over there for Chicago, man, and unfortunate, right? Because they were picking up some steam, they were playing some good basketball as well. Really taking it to the not I can't say taking it to the Lynx, but they did beat the Lynx and they played them well, right? They played them really tough in those other few games. Um, Besides the last time out anyways. But man, I'm just, looking at the other side, I'm just not impressed with Seattle. And sure, it's kind of the same thing with them. They're a whole different team without Skylar out there. But they've been inconsistent throughout the season. It's not just their last game, right? They've had some real duds over the course of the season. But yeah, I mean, looking at that last game out, man, they were handled pretty easily at home by the Wings on Tuesday, losing by 24, and they have now dropped two of their last three. They're going to be on the road for the first of three straight. They have covered in 7 of their 11 games played away from home this year, but even still, man, I'm not sure I can get there with this team laying over 4 possessions, especially on the road. It's the first match on the year for these two, and Chicago comes into it failing to cover and losing outright in 3 straight. The uncertainty of Reese is ultimately going to keep me off the side here, man, but I would lean Chicago catching all those points at home before I trusted the Storm to win by nearly double digits on the road after just laying an egg at home, right? So yeah, I guess I'll lean Chicago here, but I'm not sure that I can get here on the side with this one either, man. For the total, it's looking like an under spot with the uncertainty still on both sides. And I guess that makes sense with that line dropping the way that it has. It was at 161.5, and I start recording, and you typically double check the lines like as I'm about to record, make sure that they haven't shifted in the last few minutes, right? And like I said, 161.5. Now we're already all the way down to 157.5. So definitely, looking like the market agrees with the under in this one. Yeah, like I said, with all the uncertainty on both sides concerning Reese and Diggins, and then with the hit that Chicago takes offensively without Atkins, the Storm have been one of the better rated defensive teams on the year. They're sitting at fifth, and then over their last 5, they're coming in at third. So I'm going to lean under looking at this game here. I'm not seeing any player props out yet for these games, guys, but when they do come out, I'm going to look over those, and if I find anything, I will throw that up on the website as well. So that is going to do it, man. Hope you guys all have a great day today. Hope you guys all cash out. Hope you guys enjoyed the content and found it helpful and useful. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. That's going to do it, man. Hope you guys all cash out, and I'll see you back tomorrow for the next one.